right, everyone, we will go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a very special webinar featured for you guys today, and we are happy to have a special guest. Vincent Deschondon with Galigeo is joining us today to talk to you guys about mapping out your data. So advance your geoanalytics strategy in ibi WebFOCUS. So this is a special webinar that we are presenting to you today, and happy that you are able to join us. On the line today, as I just mentioned, our special guest, Vincent Deschondon with Galigeo. He is the product manager with 10 years experience in location intelligence and BI software. He's worked with over 100 companies worldwide, helping them solve their location business challenges like site selection, sales territory management, white space analysts, and even logistics optimization. So we're super excited to have Vincent with us today. And then a familiar face most of you guys know, Alex Homer, an IBIer with Cloud Software Group. Alex is our product manager with WebFOCUS, reporting, visualization, and mapping features. And Alex has been with IBI since 2015. He's worked on both documentation and product management and location intelligent features for WebFOCUS. So super excited for these guys to present to you today. Before we get started, a quick couple of housekeeping. This session is being recorded, so you will receive a copy of the recording after the webinar is complete within 24 hours. We will also post this on our new IBI website as well as our YouTube channel. During the presentation, if you have any questions for our panelists, please submit those through the Q&A feature. We will monitor that, and Vincent and Alex and also Angie is on the line to help with the Q&A. So any questions, submit those, and we'll go ahead and kick this off, and I will turn it over to you, Alex.
All right, thanks, Shay. So yeah, just a brief intro. A lot of you guys might be familiar with our location intelligence features. We did a cool demo over the summer showing some of those off. As a general concept, it's a great way to take a look at your location-based data and analyze it in a more kind of contextual, feature-rich way than maybe like a regular chart or report. And so we do have our multi-layer map feature that we have, but we also have a very cool Galigeo extension, which has a lot of really cool built-in features that you can take advantage of beyond what WebFOCUS even has like built into it. So this is going to show those features to you guys, and I think there's a lot of really cool kind of value-added enhancements, not only to take a look at the geolocations and kind of like spatial context of your data, but also do some kind of runtime data enhancements, bring in external layers, and do some additional manipulations, filtering, that kind of thing. So I won't take too much of your time so that Vincent can show you his really cool demo, and then I'll show you after that some of the integration with WebFOCUS that you guys might find useful. So without further ado, Vincent, want to take it away?
Yeah, thanks, Alex and Shay, for this introduction. So Vincent here from the Galigeo. So we are really happy to co-host this webinar with you guys today at WebFOCUS. And so my idea, I'm just going to run to a few slides. Promise I won't bore you with too much slides, and then jump into the product demonstration. So as you said, Alex, my idea is to showcase you what Galigeo is capable of using a real business use case that will, I hope, help you draw parallels with your own business use cases. And then Alex will jump into a more focus into the integration within WebFOCUS. So let me share my screen and show you some slides. So it should be good right now. Yeah. So everyone should be able to see my screen. So I'm just going to go into a little quick introduction about what is location intelligence and because why Galigeo is existing. So you are probably already familiar with this concept of the 5W. So when you are creating reports in BI, so what you try to do is try to understand what is happening using the BI data that is available to you. And so you have to ask yourself 5 different questions. So why is it happening? When is it happening? Who is involved in the process? And one of the dimension is the world dimension. And unfortunately, this dimension is most often is not taken enough into account. And sometimes it's just missing from the decision-making processes. And we are going to see together why it is the case and why it should not, and what you can do to make sure that it's not the case. So the example I like to take as an introduction is that we use maps in a daily basis. And the trivial example that I like to take is weather channels. So when you are going to watch the weather, it's never like a table where you have all of the cities and if it's sunny or rainy and the temperature. It's always brought to you as a map. So, and when you are watching this, so you immediately knows you are, I don't know, like you are going into holidays at some places, you know if it's going to be rainy or not, what will be the temperature. And these maps helps you really communicate so the purposes it's made for. And so there we see that it's a really powerful ways of displaying data. And maybe you never thought about it, but the fact it is there on a map, it's something that is really interesting. So it's more like daily basis, personal stuff. But if you think about it regarding application and more on the business perspective, one example that I would like to take as well is Uber. So previously we had like standard application where you can book a taxi, and it was like, okay, I'm here, I'm going to this location. It was just giving you, okay, so the taxi is arriving like in 20 minutes and it will cost this much. But in Uber, you can see the taxis that are nearby, and you can see also when you are booked one, where it is located, and so where it is currently positioning regarding where you are located. And this is interesting because Uber, they communicated on that, and they said that when the people that are booking the taxi, they stay on the application to see how the taxi is going. And where it is located. If it's like, okay, I don't understand why is it taking like this walk around. Okay, it's not going straight where I am. And so the people, they like it, and so it's really helped Uber deliver like a smooth and friendly user experience using this kind of maps. And so this is okay. This is I would say more B2C use cases. But when you think about it, so the where dimension is most of the time it's a bit missing. When we are going to make decision on the professional lives, while we are used to have it available in our personal choices. And so the three main reasons right there is that first, so the people tend to think that it's for experts only. So creating something like bar charts, it's okay, you bring 2 dimension and you see something, but people tend to think that the maps, it's way harder to put that in place. And maybe it was true like 20 years ago when you only had big GIS tools where you have like 20 menus and you have 20 sub-menus in each menus, and you needed to be trained on this kind of software to make something out of it. But of course, and this is why we are here today, this is not the case anymore. One thing as well is what we call geodata silos. And when you see you have like all the business data, most of the time, like they will be in a data lake, and everything that is related to geography, so the administrative boundaries themselves, sales territories, so the geography, it tends to be stored in another system. So it's not in the same system, and people, so most of the time, the business users, they don't know where this data are located. They don't know how they can reach out to it, how they can use this in the tool that they are familiar with. And so most of the time they just ignore it. And this is why also the where factor is often missing from analysis. And also because people are already using a lot of applications in their professional lives. And so they have to, okay, the IT are going to tell them, we are going to bring you a new tool so you can analyze things, I would say spatially. But okay, they say, maybe I have already tools to analyze data. Can I have something in my tool that I'm already using to answer my business use case, and not having like another tool I will need to get the data at this other tool, etc., etc. And this is why we created Galigeo. So the idea is to, okay, let the business user create maps by themselves without need to be a GIS experts beforehand. We can combine, I would say, data from multiple sources and crunch them at a single place. And this is what I'm going to show in the demonstration. And of course, and this is why we are hosting that with IBI today. You can have this kind of application directly embedded within your WebFOCUS reports, and this is of course the main purpose of this of today's webinar. So I'm quickly finishing here. So, okay, location intelligence helps you get faster time to insights. You can unveil like proximity relationships and trends in data. You could not if you are not using maps. It's going to improve the user experience because I've mentioned in the beginning, people are used to see map. They are used to work with map in their daily basis. So you can bring that to them on their professional purposes, and so they will. It will help them adopt and improve the communication on the reports that you are sharing, and okay, faster decision, operational execution, and so you can see 3 different levels that I'm going to try to cover today. You can visualize. So the first thing is how do you want to visualize the data? Okay, you have think about the data set that you have, think about the different columns and which one can be represented on the map. Okay, you have like stores, you have addresses of these stores. This is X and Y coordinates. You can plot that on the map. You know the stores, they are located in specific zip codes. You can bring these zip codes on the map. They are located in specific states. You can bring the states on the map. You are analyzing incidents that happen on the railways. You can bring the incident on the map. You can bring the railways on the map. So you can think about what you can bring on the map. So this is the first part, visualizing. Then how you analyze the data. It can be by proximity. Like if I on the store, what is the area that I can reach like in a 30 minutes drive time? And then you can go down to the really the operational level. And one concrete example is sales territories. You have like a prospect, you see the prospects on the map, and you can say, okay, I'm going to select all of these prospects and to affect this prospect to my sales rep on the field. So he knows exactly which one he has to go to visit. And the map helps you, I would say, helps you really operate this kind of use cases. So just to take an example, on the right, you will have left WebFOCUS. We have all of the business data going to WebFOCUS, and on the Galigeo side, it will be more geographical data, footfall data, and what we call contextual data. So everything that is social, weather, market, economics. And I will try to see a quick example during the demonstration. And so we are embedded in WebFOCUS. And Alex will talk a little bit more about that after my demonstration. Galigeo comes with a built-in catalog of indicators of data, of geodata. And one thing that I'm going to show in the demonstration, if I can do a spoiler, is the population by zip codes. So typically, it is most of the companies, they will have their own, of course, their own business data in their data sets. But everything that is what we call contextual data, like the population, the households, the social, the median revenue, etc. This exists in open data portal on some website, but the people that don't know how they can bring it, they can use it in their reports, and the maps really helps for this kind of use case. So as I've mentioned, it helps you centralize the geographical data in one place, and it's full of what we call business-oriented features. So the idea is to abstract the complexity that is inherent to spatial, because there is some complexity, but we have really tried and worked to make sure that it can be used by someone that had never touched the map and never created the map before starting using Galigeo. And it's available in English, in French, German, Spanish, Italian, Polish, and Portuguese. So we were available all over the world, and we are covering most of the main languages out there. We have many customers in the world. You see some names and logos on the right. And so we are seamlessly integrating within WebFOCUS and as well as other BI solutions. A lot of core features available in a self-service fashion, and it's a cloud solution, but it can also be deployed on premise really quickly. So you can make sure that you can get started quickly, like it's not like a 2-week process. To start deploying Galigeo, within minutes, you can already start creating your own maps using BI coming directly from WebFOCUS, for example. Okay. So now let's start to the demonstration. I'm going to switch to my demonstration. So as I've mentioned in the beginning, I will focus more on the Galigeo part and then give back the ball to Alex for more the Galigeo plus WebFOCUS integration part of the webinar. Okay. So let me switch here. Okay. So quick introduction there. Let's say I'm a data analyst and I'm working for a fast food company in the US that is called Burgatory, which is a fake company that I invented for the purpose of this demonstration. And there, okay, you see that I'm present on the US East, and you see, okay, the network of all of my restaurants right here, okay. And so what I have available on my data here, I'm going to show you that here. So it's things that are like, okay, so I have the addresses of the restaurants. Does it do takeaway or not? In which state it's located, zip codes, but I also have some, let's say, basic KPI like the turnover, target turnover, the number of employees, the performance, etc. So I'm guessing so KPI that you guys are also using in your analysis. And so there, my mission here is to be able to analyze the performance of the network of stores and understand if there are areas where we can make things happen to boost the performance of my restaurants, and if the performance is not well enough, maybe understanding why is it so. And if you are using like standard charts, standard reports, you can say, okay, I'm going to select like the top 10 less performing restaurants, and I'm going to analyze them more in depth. But you will never get the information, are they close to each other or not? And is there a relationship between where they're located and their performance? And the maps will really help us to tackle this kind of question right here. And I'm going to guide you through this scenario with my demonstration. So the first thing there that you see is, of course, the map is interactive. It seems like it's trivial. Sometimes I don't even mention that. But yeah, the map is interactive. So you can zoom in, you can pan, and you can click wherever it's relevant for you. So you see that there we only see like, okay, the administrative boundaries of the states, and it's like a visual reference for me. And you have the restaurants. If you click on the restaurants, then you have access to some information, as you can see right here. And we see the same KPIs that we have seen earlier. So okay, I have the name of my company. This is in Virginia. This is this turnover. So you see that performance is really not good enough. Okay. And so how I have created this kind of visualization. So you see that I have a small logo there. That is the fake logo of my company that I have created. So I'm not going to go through all of the different kind of visualization that Galigeo can bring, but of course we can bring a lot. And let's say we cover like 99% of the visualization needs of the different customers and prospects and use cases, of course, that they want to cover. And so the way to create this kind of analysis, it's something that is really easy. I can go here into my data. I can take the KPI that is relevant for me. So let's, for example, take the turnover. I can just do a drag and drop. And the map will help me select how I want to represent the data. Is it like proportional symbols? Is it like range of values? And I can just choose range of values. And you see that it's going to create me a new, what we call a new layer. So there I have 2 layers available, and I can hide the first one, and I can only show this one. So the turnover by stores. Okay, and you see that it's as easy as doing a drag and drop. You take the indicator that is relevant for you, do a drag and drop, and automatically the map will guide you on how you want to represent this and create you the layers that is relevant for you directly on the map. So there you have like the same view that before, but you have an ID. If I show you the legend, you have just an ID of the turnover. So okay, the redder it is, the more turnover I'm making. And if I'm not happy with that, if I say, okay, so the colors are not the one that I want to have, I'm not really liking this marker, I want to have another icon. Of course, everything is customizable. I'm not going to go through that into presentation, but you can really quickly add like a label, like a tooltip, change the colors, choose how the classes are calculated. So you have all of this panel of options available to really tailor the maps in terms of visualization to your needs. Okay. Okay, so now let's hide this one and switch back to the other one, to the other layer. But now the thing that is interesting for me, as I've mentioned, I want to focus on the performance. So I want to only select the restaurants that are not performant enough. And to do so, it's something that I can really easily. You see that I have my layer that is displaying the different restaurants. I can click here on the filter icon, and I can say, okay, I'm going to select the performance. And I want only the restaurants that are below, let's say, okay, so their performance is like positive and negative value. And it's just like a simple calculation between like target turnover and the real turnover. And so when it's below 0, that means that the performance was not well enough. So there, I'm just selecting that. Okay, 0, you see that it's selecting me this number of restaurants. And now on the map, you see only the restaurants where the performance is not well enough. Okay, so you can really play with the data, use different filters. So there we are not using spatial filter yet. I'm going to show that a little bit later. But then, okay, you can segment the data on the map using this kind of built-in filters. But there you see that you have a lot of points. Okay, so it can be, okay, you see visually that there are areas where you have more points than the other. If I just zoom out a bit, but you can't really tell how much. Okay, so you see that you have locations where you have less performing restaurants. And there, when you are macro level, a good way to visualize that is to switch to heat map. And to do so, it's quite easy. You click there on the layer name. You can click on the heat map layers, and then you see, boom, a heat map appearing. Okay. And there, the red area, that means that in these areas, you have some restaurants that are not performing well, and you are not one of them. So you have many restaurants that are not really performing well. And that means that at the macro level, you can already have a trend. If I need to take a look at specific places there, I exactly know where I should go. Okay, so I exactly know where I need to focus, and so I'm not going to waste time like browsing like restaurant after restaurant after restaurant. I can really select areas. So you see that like in New Jersey, right here, there you see in Florida as well. That okay, the performance is not well enough, and I want to do a deep dive. I want to go more in depth right now and understand why is it the case. Okay, this is my job right here. And my job is not to say, okay, these restaurants are not performing well enough, because the question will be, okay, why are they not performing well enough? And to answer this question, I need to understand more of the local context on the area where I have maybe some issue with the performance. And so okay, let's say I'm going to maybe to go to Florida. There and say, okay, I see that here. Okay, I've noticed like in New Jersey, in Florida, I want to deep dive here. I could just zoom. Okay, on the map, this is one possibility. But there you see I'm going to activate there on the top my filter that I've already created before the presentation. And so you can create as many filters as you want in Galigeo. But of course, if you are embedded within WebFOCUS, and if you are using Galigeo from the WebFOCUS environment, you could have directly a filter in WebFOCUS and trigger this filter. And because the map is fed by data from WebFOCUS, of course, the map would react to the filter that you will have triggered. And so there, okay, let's select only Florida. Okay. Let's select only Florida, click on apply. And then you see, okay, the map is going to drill automatically to Florida, and then you see a new things happening. So there we have seen that it's possible to do a drill down. So now we are only focused on Florida. You see, you still have the restaurants, but you see that you have something that have appeared below. And this is the zip codes. And the data there, the KPI that is displayed on the zip codes, if you take a look at the legend, so it's not something that comes from as business data, it's like contextual data. And there I've selected something that will be easy to understand for everyone. This is population. And so you can bring that in the product, and I've talked a little bit of that earlier with the built-in geodata catalog. Galigeo can bring you contextual information that you can overlay with your business data. Okay, and so this is interesting, because if I zoom a little bit more to this area, I have my purgatory. Okay, and you can already see that some of them here, they are located in. Okay, they seem like they are located in area where I have a lot of people living. Okay, so maybe I would have like a restaurant that is on the countryside, is not making enough money, but it's in a region where you have no real not no real person, but no one living. But then, okay, it's like in the big cities. So why it's not performing well enough? Because if I click, for example, right here, it's going to tell me, okay, so you see the performance is not good right here. Okay, and just okay, if I can just take 30 seconds to talk about that. You see that you have data, but you also have like contextual actions that you can make with Galigeo. And then I've just selected one, like a trivial one, like it's you in Google Street View, because I think it will talk to everyone. And if you click on that, then it will show you where it's located using Google Street View. So directly from the map, and so directly from WebFOCUS, you could have access to this kind of information. Okay, and there you see, okay, I'm not going to lie. So this is a McDonald's. Okay, so I have a bit. Okay, so creating my fake networks, I have a bit used the fake McDonald's networks. But you see that, okay, there you see that this is the restaurants, but you see that you can use Galigeo to open like other applications based on the data that you are going to select. Google Street View, like a trivial example, but I think it was something that was interesting to just to showcase. But okay, back to the presentation. I see that right here, okay, I have a lot of purgatories that are in the area where you have a lot of person living. And maybe what I could bring, okay, is the competition. Maybe I need to analyze where the competitors are located to understand more if my purgatory is not, my restaurant is not making enough performance. And so to do so, let's say that in my business data, I only have information about my own restaurants. But I have like alongside, like in an Excel file, something that I've directly scrapped from the internet, I have the competition. Galigeo, okay, it can be fed by data coming from WebFOCUS, but you can also bring contextual data directly yourself in it. So there, I have an Excel file. I'm just going to browse it live, okay? I'm going to select the competition, click on upload. And then you see that it's going to bring me all of the competitors. So in this case, okay, let's say all of the fast food networks. Okay, and so you see that been loaded. You have the addresses. It's already latitude and longitude, so it's already geocoded. If not, Galigeo can automatically geocode them for you. So geocoding is just translating addresses to X and Y coordinates, so you can show something on the map, and then you don't have really KPIs like just the takeaway and the brand name, but it will be enough for the presentation. Let me just name that competition, and then you have nothing to do. Galigeo already detected that it was latitude and longitude. You can just click on save and close, and then so the file becomes available to be displayed on the map. And then it's interesting because we add purgatory. Okay, we add our own restaurants with KPIs like turnover that comes from the BI. We have the zip codes with information like population that comes from contextual data from the geodata catalog of Galigeo. And then I'm adding another level, which is my own data there that I've just imported in and the same that I've did already. Okay, I'm just going to take that, do drag and drop on the map, and then it's going to, okay, you see, okay, it's green pin by default, but okay, you see exactly where the competitors are located. Okay, so you see how easy it is to create something on the map. You just bring a file, Galigeo is going to detect for you how you want it is supposed to be displayed on the map, and then you can just do drag and drop to display that. And so I'm starting to have like more precise visualization. So I'm leaving the visualization now. I want to enter more the analysis part, because there, okay, I see I have a problem of performance on this purgatory. I see the competition, and now what you can do with the product is to say, okay, no, maybe what I want to do, I want to select one specific purgatory, for instance. So for example, let's select this one, randomly, let's select this one. Okay, so I've just clicked, okay, so it's a public pharmacy because I've just clicked not exactly in the right place, but you get the ID there, and say, okay, the travel time by car, okay, you can select by car, by truck, by miles, etc. Okay, but in like, okay, let's select like in a 20, no, sorry, let's like in an hour, in a 30 and in a 20-minute drive times, what are the areas that I can reach? So this is called catchment areas. And you see that the tool can directly calculate me that. And you see the result there on the map. So you see, okay, in a 1 hour drive time, I'm going to cover like the world cities there, the world zip codes. But in a 20 minutes, okay, maybe this is my main area. And of course, okay, so you have that on the map, it's fine. But what can you do from that? And this is where Galigeo come in place. It calculates you, okay, the drive time areas, but that it's going to aggregate the data that I want at these drive time areas. And then I can just select, okay, select me like my zip codes. And now it's going to aggregate the zip codes based on the drive time area and give me the aggregated KPI. And there, for example, I could have the number of restaurants, okay, that is in this area. I can have, okay, the number of competitors in the area. And of course, there we'll have the population. And population can be like population, median revenue. I think you get the point. And there, okay, I know, okay, in my 20 minutes area from this given store, from this given restaurant, I have less than 5,000 people living. Okay, maybe this is not enough. Maybe it can explain why the performance is not good enough. Maybe we overestimated the turnover that this restaurant can make. And if I zoom in a bit, okay, I see that there is no real competition. Okay, I have some competitors in my main area, but not really close. And you see that the application, okay, it helps you visualize things on the map, but it also helps you do more than that and start more analytics process, analyzing the data using what we call spatial filters. And there, in this case, this is like catchment areas. And okay, there I can switch the base map as well and say, okay, switch me to like the world base map, and I can really zoom down to the restaurants. Okay, and I can follow up my analysis. So there I have, if I show you that already, okay, I have my different KPI data analysis. So I have like the density of population, male, female, and it could aggregate me like the turnover, okay, like the cannibalization. Am I cannibalizing like other restaurants? Like I have a new restaurant right there, but maybe it's affecting the performance on the previous store that I already have because the catchment areas are a bit colliding. Yeah, so the tool really helps you do that. And I understand that it's okay, it's really retail like slash FMCG oriented use cases. But there, okay, it can be stores. It can be like your dealers. Like you have dealers, you are selling stuff to dealers, and you want to see if they are selling enough. And maybe you can say, okay, I'm going to select all the dealers that are not making enough money, and I'm going to analyze like the catchment areas, and I can say, okay, so this one is not making enough money, but the catchment area is not good enough, so we are not going to waste too much time with this dealer, and we are going to drop this dealer, okay, and send him a goodbye, because okay, the catchment area for this dealer is not well enough. So I think you can draw parallels with your own use cases, and you see that the tools really bring you a lot of features out of the box that you can easily trigger. And of course, you can trigger that, and Alex will show that directly from the WebFOCUS environment, the WebFOCUS reports. And so you can go beyond just the visualization parts and entering more analysis slash operational kind of use cases. And if I can just take 1 minute just to just demonstrate quickly another use case, is that, okay, so there we have calculated the catchment areas, but the things that we could do as well is to say, okay, no, I see all of the competitors, and alongside these competitors, okay, you have some brands that are Wendy's, that are Taco Bell, etc. But you have also a lot of independent, like there is no brand, it's just someone like that has one restaurant, and maybe I want to, I have done white space analysis. I know where I need to go to open new stores, and I see that there is, okay, maybe I'm not going to open a new store. I'm going to just go to an independent fast food restaurant and say, do you want to become like a burgatory? Is it interesting for you? And maybe you have people on the field that are going to visit these guys, and the tool that we have used, it can be used to do the search thing as well. And you can do, okay, I'm just going to do that manually for the purpose of the demonstration, but Galigeo can automatically recreate like sectorization based on what you have available in the data. But there, okay, what I can say is I can say, okay, I have people on the field, not a bit. I have people on the field, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to select like, okay, all of these zip codes there. So I'm just randomly drawing on the map, but you get the ID there. It can select you, for example, all of the zip codes. So there you are going to see the zip code selected. So you can select all of the zip codes and say, okay, this will be the first territories. And I have sales rep, and I'm going to affect all of the restaurants that are within this zip code that I have selected. Okay, this is my first territory. So we don't really see really precisely. I'm just going to turn that off so it will be easier, and I'm going to change the colors right here. So you see that there in purple. So you have a first territory, then I'm going to do another one and select, okay, I'm going to select like other zip codes. I'm going to click on plus and say, okay, this is like a new territory. And you see that the tools really helps you do that. And at the end of the road, okay, let me just do one more. So I'm just really drawing, okay, so no one is going to work like that, but you get the idea there about what you can do with the tool. So it helps you also sectorize things there by zip code, but I could directly do a sectorization of the restaurants. You see that there I have 3 territories, and Galigeo is going to aggregate the KPIs for these territories and give you, okay, this is the potential for the first one. Okay, so the first one is going to belong to John. Okay, I'm going to name that John. This one is like Maria. Okay, Maria, sorry. Okay, and this one, okay, this one is for you, Alex. And so you have this one, and Galigeo is really going to aggregate. So it's going to generate new data based on the aggregation. As you can see, I'm just going to do like a preview, and you are going to see how it looks like. And so you can reuse this sectorization in the WebFOCUS reports to display, I don't know, like sales reporting, and say, this is the territory, so the sales rep, they knows where they have to go. If there is things that are unbalanced, like one of the sales reps, the company, and the new one is not living in the same place, you can rebalance, you can find the territory to display like a sales reporting next time presenting it. I hope it gave you like a good ideas about what was doable. And of course, if you have questions, do not hesitate, and we will take them at the end of the presentation. And on that, I will give you the ball back, Alex.
Yeah, actually, if we could just stay on this for a second. You had like those export options there, I think, on those areas that you created. I was wondering if you just wanted to touch on those real quick. I think I saw like in the table there's like an export option in the bottom corner.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I did not talk about that, but of course, yes, you can export that. Yeah, you can export.
So you can export that as a shape file, and then WebFOCUS can consume shape files as well. our mapping stuff, or you could continue to use it here in Galigeo, which I think that's a really cool feature as well. Because usually you have to use like a third-party tool to create like new shape files and stuff, and you can also export the data and stuff like that. Very powerful.
But yes, you are right, Alex. But for example, the thing that we are doing with some customers, so you can use WebFOCUS and Galigeo. You can define the territories, and then Galigeo can connect, for example, can be connected directly, for example, to the CRM. You define territories based on the data coming from WebFOCUS, like like your own KPIs, business data, etc. And then you can select all the accounts and automatically affect these accounts to the CRM. So the sales rep that are going to connect to their CRM, they exactly knows based on the sectorization that we will have done in WebFOCUS and Galigeo what is affected to them, and so they can start working. So when we talk about typically the kind of use cases that can be set in place using WebFOCUS and Galigeo and like another tool where you will have some other information stored.
Yeah, that is super cool. So a lot of both connections in kind of both directions, both on the data side and kind of the mapping side. Yeah, very cool stuff.
I give you the ball back in
sure. I'll show real
Yeah.
quick, and then we can take some questions. Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, as you can see there, a lot of cool features built right into Galigeo. Not just like on the mapping side, but also a little bit on the like data prep, data management side. So you might have already done a lot of those things in WebFOCUS, and you might have data that you want to use that's already available, and that's kind of like the kind of one of those built-in connections between WebFOCUS and Galigeo, that you can use that data that you already have set up. But as you saw there, also Galigeo gives the option to kind of bring in new data on the fly as well, which is very cool. So in this case, I'll be showing you the same data set. I've already like set it up in WebFOCUS and imported it, and I've also created a couple content items that also use that same data set. And so I'm going to show you a few of the ways that WebFOCUS and Galigeo can work together, even outside of those cool features that Vincent just showed. So here I am in the WebFOCUS hub. Got these two items that I pre-created, and I'm gonna just start up Designer in our authoring mode, create a new Galigeo chart. So the Galigeo, we have two extensions that I'll show as options later. I'm going to select the same data source that we used previously with the fast food data. And since Galigeo stuff is available as extensions, they show up in the extensions area. I'm highlighting those here. So you can see we've got a choropleth one, which if you're familiar with mapping concepts, the kind of like geographic areas. And we have the point map, which is what we were looking at previously. So I'm going to use the point option. And in this case, as you can see, the buckets there is how I'll be setting that up. And as for all extensions, I have these extension properties I can set. These are mostly configuration things that you can use to make sure everything's working as expected. So I'm going to start with longitude and latitude. That's going to define the locations of my points. Next thing I'm going to set is the ID, which is going to determine the number of points that are placed on the map. So like how granular the map is. I'm going to use zip code. That's like the most detailed dimension field that I have. So it's going to create one point for each zip code. If I had like a store ID field, I might use that as well. I'm also going to add a couple measures to my map here with turnover and performance, kind of like generally most useful ones. And then I'm going to add to that additional fields bucket, I'm going to add state name. That's going to like apply basically like series, so that each of the markers is going to be colored based on the state name value. So then you see that when it loads, I have all my zip codes and they're sorted by state name. One thing to note as well is that like when I'm zoomed out to this level, it's a little bit less like detailed. So when I zoom in, you'll see even more detail. Here's like a heat map view, so you can see the higher density of different areas as was shown earlier. So I can see like New York, Boston, I think Orlando, Atlanta. Those are kind of the more dense areas. I also have like a cluster view This one's pretty cool because we actually see like you can point to it and see the actual outline that is contained by that cluster, because not all clusters are like necessarily created equal. Some might be more dense. So if the cluster is like for a smaller area, then you can tell it's like a more dense cluster. So some of them might be covering like a larger area than another one. So even if I see the number, it might not necessarily reflect the density. So this one you can see here, it's covering, I don't know what that area of Pennsylvania is, but here, this one's a relatively small area. It's just Bangor to Camden to, I think, Augusta. Whereas this one's like relatively large, I think like Lewiston to Vermont. So you can see that even though it has double the restaurants, it's covering like a much larger area. So this is a very like helpful way to contextualize some of this information, but also view it at a high level at the same time. And as we showed earlier, you have all these selection options and even more like data options, everything that you would use or that you saw previously is available under these same menus here. As always, I can change the base map and do whatever other manipulations I want to do here. So, and as you can see, like part of it is like it's using the data that I already had in WebFOCUS. One last thing that I'm going to do is I want to drill down to this map. I'm going to add it to a page later. So what I'm going to do is add a filter to the map, and then I'm going to make a single select so that it can receive a drill down from a report. I'm only clicking one value at a time in the report, so I made a single select for that reason. And I'm just going to save this to my environment, and then after this, make an assembled page so that you can see that process. So I've already got the other content that I want to add. I'm going to use that assemble visualizations option to make an assembled page with my content. And then I'm just going to drag all of those items in. So here's the map that I just made. I'm just going to like resize that and then add the report. And I'll add also have like a bar chart that's kind of like a ranking of each of the locations. So yeah, of course, any content that you want to add that's like contextual and helps bring out the information in the map is always like a good way to do it. So you can do that analysis directly in the map, or if you have something that maybe helps you to view it at a higher level, you can take a look at that as well. And I mentioned that I was going to drill down to these items. So I'm using this portal dispatch drill refresh JavaScript drill down. This is documented. You can check out our documentation site, designer documentation, see some information about that. But basically, I'm going to set the classes for the items that I want to be refreshed on click in that report. You can see there's hyperlinks in the first column of that report. So when I click one, it's going to refresh the two items that I set the classes for. And so now you can see when you run it, not only do you have the map, but you also have some additional context from this other content that I've created with the same data. So when I click one of these drill down links, both items refresh, both the map and also the content. And you can see like even though I have all the same data in this bar chart, it's a lot easier to see obviously on the map when it's like distributed. So I can see like there's a bunch of restaurants, I think in the New Haven area down there, and I can use any of the same things here that I was using on the full map. So I can see clustering, or I can view a heat map just like I could with that other stuff. And of course, this would also be a great opportunity. I can see it's more dense in the New Haven area, but maybe if I look at that zip code population data, I would see that, maybe we don't have as many restaurants as we could in the Hartford area or elsewhere. So, and again, same like when you're running the full map, you can run on each area. Here I can see like kind of south of Springfield, I guess that's Enfield, Connecticut. We've got like a lot of density too. So it can be a great way to kind of like get some more information that might be a little bit harder to track down in your kind of more high level content. It's a lot easier to like really know where like a zip code or a county is when you're seeing it on a map than it is to just like see the name in your other content. So yeah, overall, I think depending on the use case that you want to follow, it may be useful to create your own content that has kind of like a more high level view and provide some additional context, but you can also do some of that, bring in external data and some kind of like more contextual data directly within Galigeo. You can even see some like reports based on the data that you select within Galigeo itself as well, kind of similar to our drill down capabilities. So yeah, it's really, I think overall the combination of the two features brings a lot of flexibility. And depending on the workflow that's easiest for you, if you want to do stuff more on the fly, or if you have that data already set up, you have a lot of choices in terms of how you do things. And yeah. So yeah, I guess can start taking a look at data. So can you lasso a group of data points? So so I guess like a couple layers to this question. Obviously, like you saw there in Galigeo, you have the selection options, and I think Vincent, can you apply a filter directly in Galigeo by doing that?
Yeah, sure. So you can, of course, you can draw like a you can use a lasso feature to select data points, even if it's not data points like polygons, lines, etc. It will work the same. So you can freely draw, okay, your own shape on the map. And as I've showcased in the presentation, of course, you can go into more advanced way of selecting data by distance. You can select me everything in like a 10 miles radius, 20 minutes drive times, proximity, similarity as well, to say, okay, so I have analyzed the context of a given stores, and then in store, it can be a store, but I've talked a lot about stores, but it can be whatever relevant for your business, and say, okay, select me all of the stores that looks the same, okay, that have the same properties on the map. This can be a way of selecting data in Galigeo. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from the WebFOCUS side, so we this is like kind of like the first time I was working with the new Galigeo release. So there's a couple of things that we have to work out, but you can also do drill downs from your Galigeo maps to your WebFOCUS content. There's a couple of things we need to do to get working with the new API, but in the old one, you would get like the tooltip when you do the selection, so you can use any of the methods that Vincent just mentioned, and then you get your standard WebFOCUS tooltip. So if you have like that drill menu, you could click one of those and it would refresh everything else on the page as well. So kind of like bi-directional drilling is possible. So you can even take it outside of that context.
All right. Any other questions for Alex or Vincent? I think you guys just wowed them this morning.
There's
Oh,
a
here's
lot of
another
cool
one.
stuff there. Yeah, let's see.
Is there a data point limit in the map?
Yeah. So the answer is no. So I would say the limit is only the. So let's answer this question in two parts. So technically speaking, there is no limitation, and I would say the limitation will be more like the performance of your own laptop, because the solution is cloud based, so it's run in the browser. So if you have like an old laptop from 10 years ago, maybe it will be a bit less performant than if you have like a brand new laptop with a latest Intel core generation. So I think it makes sense. It seems like it's obvious, but I just wanted to bring that back. So yeah, and after that, so we have multiple ways of handling a lot of data, because we have a lot of customers that comes to us and say, I have like 1 million rows in my data. Can I bring that in the product? So the answer is yes. But what we are telling them is it relevant to display 1 million points at the same time on the map? Even like if you display like 5,000 points on top of the US, and you are zoom out to the US, so the points are going to go on, so they are going to overlap each other. And so you are going to get nothing meaningful out of this kind of visualization. So as we have shown in the demonstration, like the heat map could be a good way. So you lose a bit of granularity, but then you aggregate a trend. Clusters, as Alex have shown as well, can be a good way to not handle too much data, but just have a trend, like have an ID where I need to see. I can over the mouse over the clusters, etc. And okay, drill down is also a possibility. Generalization, so a lot of things to handle a lot of data. But yeah, so technically speaking, there is no limitation, and there is no also limitation in terms of the number of layers that you can overlay on the map. So you can create as many layers as you want, polygons, points, whatever, mixing different sources. It's also possible.
Great, thank you. Alex, there is one for you. Missed the part in your demo, but how did you select the Galigeo base map?
Oh, okay. So let's see. I don't know if there's a property to change the default base map. That's something we could definitely look at. So I guess it just started out with the default one, and then you have the base map options directly in the UI. So there's like that base map button that you can use to change the base map. But as far as setting the default one, you might be able to do it from the Galigeo side, or we can look into also like adding like a property to that extension.
Yeah. So the thing that I can bring there is so you have a lot of base map that are available by default, and as well as you have base map, and you also have things like states, county, zip codes, etc. And we covered only the US, but of course it's wherever you are located in the world, it works as well. So if I don't know if you are like in Japan, you can also use Galigeo. It's not a problem. And for the base map, and for the one that maybe knows that they have like a GIS system is in place where they have their own base map. And I know it's mainly the case for company like the railway industry, airport company, etc., etc. Most of the time they are using their own base map, and you can bring that into Galigeo as well and make that your default base map. It's also a possibility.
Okay, thanks, Vincent. Follow-up question, are the maps free of charge?
Yeah, so I guess any pricing stuff can be taken offline. I personally am not too knowledgeable about the pricing side, but
if you guys are interested in the pricing part of it, if you'll just make a note on the evaluation form, I did already put the link in the chat, so you guys can go out to the evaluation form, put that in there, and we'll make sure that your account rep or someone can answer that for you guys. Any other questions for Alex or Vincent that we can answer for you guys today? We have a couple of minutes left. All right, well, while y'all are thinking of your last minute questions as we wrap up, just a reminder, again, we did record the webinar, so I will send out a copy of this tomorrow. You will receive it tomorrow. It will also be posted on our YouTube channel and our new ibi.com website, so you can access it there as well. Alex, Vincent, thank you so much for presenting today. It was great material. Kudos from the audience, great demo. So thank you guys. It was well received, and there, I believe everyone's excited. So we'll see what they have to say. And if there are no more questions, then we'll give you a few minutes back to your day. We thank you guys for joining us. And if you have any additional questions or think of anything later, feel free to reach out to our team, and we'll be happy to address those for you guys.
Yeah. Thanks everyone, and thanks for inviting us to this this presentation.
Yeah, thank you for joining. Very cool stuff. So
yeah. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.